Hi everyone. I just figured out I would show you a few signs that I know. I just signed that my name is Hannah Lane, and today I would like to inform you about American Sign Language. I actually learned what I know about American Sign Language through taking ASL 1 and 2 for my foreign language credit in high school. So, as you probably know, ASL is the main way that deaf people communicate in America. There are other ways that they communicate. There's signed exact English. There's just writing. There's home signs. But ASL is the main way. It's a combination of signs, finger spelling, body language. But it's not. A lot of people think that there's just a sign for a word and then that's it. But it's really a lot of body language and facial expression. A lot goes into American Sign Language. It's not just a list of signs that replace words. If you're familiar with Spanish at all, the sentence structure is very similar to that of Spanish. The noun usually goes before the adjective. Like if you're going to sign that a car is red, you would say, or if you're going to sign a red car, you would sign car red. Just to give you a little bit of something that you may know, because I know a lot of people took Spanish in high school. If you want to learn more about sign language or learn any signs, lifeprint.com is a very good resource. That's actually what we used in my sign language class. If you're wondering what the origin of American Sign Language is, I can tell you a little bit about that. It's not set in stone what the actual origin of it is, but it's widely accepted by the deaf community that in 1814, Thomas Hopkins Gaudet, a doctor that lived up north, had a neighbor who had this daughter who was very intelligent, very capable, but was deaf. And at this time, there was no widespread way that deaf people could communicate. Everybody just used home signs or just did the best they could to try to get their point across, and it was very difficult and very frustrating. So Gaudet traveled to Europe for a couple years, learning the French sign language that they had established over there, learning techniques and ways, and he brought back a couple of instructors from there. They came here to eventually found the first free public school for the deaf, just like an elementary school. Then they went on to establish what is today Gaudet University, the only you can find this on gaudet.edu. It is the only university for the deaf in the world. That's hard for me to believe that nobody else has made a university for them, but it is the only university. So, me, myself, I wonder, how, well, it was 1814, 1800 years, how did the deaf people communicate before this American Sign Language came to America? And you can ask yourself the question, well, how would you communicate if you could not talk? People used home signs, which, it's just it was signs, but it was not nationally known. You couldn't sign to another deaf person and they know what you're talking about. It's just signs used within the home that they knew what they meant. They used writing and pointing and gestures, everything like that. Just a very frustrating world for a deaf person to be in. But even then, Brooke Larson, a paper I found, she made the statement, which was very true and is still true today, that deaf people were viewed as very disabled, and especially back then, they were sent off to institutions, so they weren't doing a lot of communicating anyways. And today, deaf people have made very big strides in that, and calling them disabled is very offensive to them. They like to say that we can do anything that hearing people can't except hear, which I think is funny. Deaf people are in no way any dumber than anybody that can hear anything. They're just like us, they just can't hear. So my closing thought to you is, have you ever thought about learning any sign language? It's a mesmerizing thing to watch, and it's a really It's a really beautiful language, and learning sign language, helps bring awareness to the deaf. Learning about deaf culture, learning that they're not deaf and dumb, which is very offensive to them. It brings awareness to that, and it helps them in their everyday life, because you never know when you're going to run across a deaf person that's trying to communicate and can't, and you can step in and, be the mediator. I've had to do that, or I have not had to. I've wanted to do that, and I have got to do that on a few occasions. So that's just my thought. Hope you have a great day.